It's me and you, Don?
I guess so. As everybody starts coming back, here we go. There's Paulette. Otherwise, in 10 seconds, they'll all automatically shut down and they'll all be forced to come back. One way or the other.
Good. We're coming back.
They're all coming back. That's, yeah, because I force closed all the rooms. Yep.
That was the fastest 10 minutes.
Welcome back.
That was
Yeah, I
quick.
Yeah,
know.
welcome back.
What,
Yep.
what was that about?
It goes by, doesn't it go fast?
Yeah, we didn't even finish the first question.
Oh, no.
Because, yeah, we introduced ourselves and, these guys took you like 3 minutes each to tell us their story. So we got to go back in.
Well, we'll break in a minute. So maybe we can just go around the rooms, in each of the breakout rooms, if we can get a little report on what you came up with. And again, the questions, either the strategies for attracting new members. And did you all get to the second question, being a practice, the engaging members? Many
Yes.
of you did?
Mm-hmm.
Just Steve's room. Yeah.
Yes,
all
yeah,
that.
we did.
Yes.
Marta's room did too.
Okay. All right. It was just Steve then that didn't make it to the second question.
Yes, yes.
That's-
So it wasn't because of me, Dan. It
Yeah,
really,
Steve,
really
Steve has
wasn't.
to talk.
Uh-huh.
Steve,
Okay.
you should be talking at the end.
All right. So let's start with, I guess we can start with Steve's room since we're focusing
All
on
right.
Steve. So who's
Michelle?
your, yep.
Michelle?
Yes. So for strategies, we talked a lot about you have to get your name out there. So everybody in the club really needs to be working to tell Rotary about to everyone they meet in the community, and when they're out and about, they need to be talking about it. Also, having a social media strategy is really important, and using that as a tool to reach new audiences by promoting what you're doing, having great photos, and just showing all the wonderful things that we're doing. And then also having really great programs so that there's something to entice people to come and check out a full meeting. That's kind of a summary.
Good. Awesome. Thank you. All right, Marta, how about your room?
That was me.
Let's see here. Marta,
Go ahead,
who
Paula.
is that? I'm sorry, who
I
is?
think Paulette's got it.
Yeah,
Paulette.
I
Paulette.
took,
Oh, good.
yeah, I took the notes. Yeah,
Gotcha.
so strategies for attracting new members. A couple of really brilliant ones that to not repeat the people in front of me. John from the environmental group, they're heavily allied with other environmental groups. They have an alliance with other climate organizations and so forth. And so they really get what they do out there by creating an alliance with other like-minded organizations, which I thought was brilliant. Dave out of Escondido, one of the things he did, what I thought was great, was when he had this event, he posted it on Nextdoor, and he got some people to come to his fundraising event just because they were local and wanted to come. So thought that was a great way to attract people to an event and then invite them into membership. One of the groups, Jackie from La Jolla Golden, they pursue their speakers to be members. They invite any of the speakers that come in, they invite them to be members. I thought, well, that's brilliant. And they got the American Lung Association president or something in the club, and just by asking. So that was awesome. Actively remind every member that they're all on the membership committee. Actively remind every member that they are all on the membership committee. It is the duty of the entire club to invite others. So that's my,
Great.
Yeah.
Thanks, Paula. Good stuff.
Very good. Awesome.
Scott, how about your room, Scott?
That would be Lily.
Okay, so some strategies that we came up with was connecting with Chamber of Commerce or other Chamber of Commerces, and also for changing the meetings so that they're more accessible for everyone, because not everybody can take an hour out of their lunchtime or whatever. Also to maybe do some corporate memberships, and then hosting events or network drives, maybe a happy hour to kind of get in, the people that can't go when we're doing our normal memberships, our normal meetings rather. Attracting more Rotaractors to become Rotarians, because I guess there's a low number of Rotaractors who actually go on to be Rotarians. And then having a target audience for membership. So to kind of drive more memberships through that target audience and know who we're kind of going after. And I think that about sums it up, right, Scott?
Outstanding. We covered a lot of ground. A lot of ground.
Thanks, Lily.
Yeah.
Chuck, your room.
Yes, my room, Dana is going to report.
So got the room a little late, but 3 of us got to share. But some of the common points were attracting the younger member. Well, what do you do for that, right? And I like the idea from Nicholas about, they're a Friday at noon. Okay, once a month, have an evening, make a mandatory happy hour group meeting or something like that. I know my club in San Marcos really needs to focus on that as well, because the younger members below the age of 50 that have joined the last, say, 5 years have cited that, I'm a busy working guy. I get it, right? So love the idea. So that's one idea. Second idea, I like what I heard was a young professional membership, right? So if it's cost prohibitive, I'm sure our foundation has enough money to supplement that. And I think we're willing to, discount a membership and supplement costs where needed to attract that younger member. Paul talked about, what are we doing for that 30 and 40-year member, right? Old school, right? Go back and interview every single member, get on the phone, old school interview, what has worked for you? Why have you stayed? What should we do with the new membership? And so I really like that old school approach. And then for me personally up in San Marcos, look, we got 2 huge college campuses up here in San Marcos, over 50,000 students between Palomar College and Cal State San Marcos. We have not tapped into the alumni. We have not tapped into resources at either school to be present on campus to help attract and build a Rotaract club. But get those graduates now. Cal State first graduates hit the streets professionally around 1999, right? So we're hoping to find some of those graduates from say 99 to 2010, 2015 that are now in their maybe 30s and 40s like myself and looking to give back and get connected in the community.
Excellent.
All right, Dana, thank you. All right, let's see, Diane, your room.
Hey, is my scribe ready there?
Yes. So we came up with a lot of similar ideas that we've already heard. Most notable, and it seems to be a recurring one, is being flexible with our schedules. So Michael from the Oceanside San Luis Rey Club, he's a breakfast club and they meet at 7:15, and he says they constantly are receiving, and I visit his club often, and they do in fact have gained new members on almost once a week, Michael, maybe you mentioned. And a lot of it has to do with they have relevant speakers, relevant to the current issues in the community. And that seems to be very attractive. They also, in addition to meeting once a week, this was Marty Rosenberg mentioned having a good meeting location. And another item would be allowing one meeting in the evening. So if you're traditionally a morning or a noon club, perhaps doing similar to a happy hour, an evening club. And I speak for my club, we do that once a month as well, where normal meetings are at noon, but we do switch to a 5:30 afternoon. And we do have a glass of wine next to us when we're Zooming in. So again, a lot of what we've heard before, but just to strengthen the most popular ideas, I thought it was worth repeating. The friends inviting friends. And I think, we all, to echo somebody else's comment about ensuring that we understand we're all part of the membership committee. And so not being afraid to invite, friends of ours to that. That's what we came up with.
Great, thank you, Athenia. All right, and Ron.
And Sandy is going to share. Sandy, you there?
Yeah, I'm unmuting, sorry.
Okay.
We got to this question later in the 10 minutes than many others did, but one of the suggestions was one of the clubs has a leadership succession plan, and they have what they call deputies. And I'm assuming the deputies are somewhat like members in training for that particular role, so that they have more than one person working on various issues and developing skill sets so that they can hit the ground running when it's their turn. And that helps keep everybody engaged in doing something for the club that's meaningful to them, tapping into their skill set, their strengths, and making the experience something that's beneficial to them and meaningful to them, so that they feel like they have made a contribution to the club as a whole. Other things that were discussed were chamber mixers and ways to entice chamber members into your Zoom meetings through good speakers. One mentioned they had thematic speakers where they would take about a month or so and just focus on a particular topic, and then have a variety of different speakers come in and share their viewpoints. I thought that was a really good one in order to really come away feeling like you've been educated on something. The other things that we talked about were mostly around the programs and the speakers and how important that was for people to want to participate in the meetings themselves and to stay active in the outside world, because everybody's trying really hard to, they've done some recruiting, like La Mesa Sunrise has done some recruiting just by virtue of their picking oranges and apples off in orchards. They've brought neighbors and friends, and they've recruited from those events as well.
Good.
That's it.
Thanks, Andy. Great.
Thank you.
All right, I think we've covered everybody's rooms. And so let's, and maybe we can leave just a little bit more time this time around. We'll check in with you guys and see how you're coming along on the next breakout. But the next is going to be listing any membership or retention programs that your club has implemented in the last 3 years. And how has it gone? Good, bad, or indifferent? So we're going to send you away for another breakout. And
Yes, sir. I just wanted to announce, I just got a text message. My club is getting a new member tomorrow. So this membership, just it's putting it out there in the universe. We're talking about it, and it's actually happening.
See how fast that thing that
That's
works?
how
Awesome.
it works.
All right. Thanks for that. Okay. See you all back in a few minutes.
All right, here we go, everybody.
All right. Bye, Don.
You must have a stopwatch. Gee, that was the fastest 10 minutes.
Well, you know, I'm trying to be respectful of everybody's time, right? Isn't that how it's supposed to go?
Yes, you're doing fine, but it's like speed dating. It's like speed dating.
Yeah. Well, you know, it's a learning experience for us to do these breakout rooms with this topic. So I think the foundation, we're going to have to spread over 2 months. It's too much material.
Yeah.
Just saying. Here they come.
Dun, 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 dun.
All right, yay!
Don, you're exhibiting too much control on this.
Hey.
I feel like we're getting tossed around a little
Yeah,
bit.
he's enjoying this too much, Scott. This is really very.
We're having a very great conversation, and then Don just rips us back.
Yeah. Going deep and yeah. Sorry, we're trying to keep it, to the hour. So,
If
well, let's,
anyone is suffering from whiplash for this, just let me know.
yeah, let's jump in. So, whoever wants to go first and report the groups in, go ahead and jump in.
Does my group want to go first? Okay, go ahead.
So I think that was Diane. Yes.
Yep.
Strategies for retaining. Really good stuff. Keeping in mind there's other people to share. Let's see if I can condense it. Again, doing programs that are relevant to current issues in our community was very popular and well liked. Some examples is just recently Michael's Club, they had someone speak on one of the local measures that's in our ballot. And so that's definitely attracting not only members, but guests. And of course, hopefully turning them into members. Another big one was surveys, conducting surveys, ensuring that the membership is happy, really. And are we expressing through volunteer or through other business, club business, are we expressing what led them to sign up as a member to begin with? So surveys was a big one. Lunch and learns, I really like what Reagan had to share. She mentioned conducting lunch and learns in the community within the small business community. Yes, Reagan? Did I get that right? Yes?
Yeah, absolutely. Yep.
Can you share on that? Because I thought that was really good.
Yeah, so we did surveys as well, and we were looking at ways to get our members excited and engaged, and find other things to do outside of our Monday meetings. And Lunch and Learns kind of came about a few years ago, where we would connect with local businesses that everyone was interested in. We have a lot of big corporations in Carlsbad, and there was a lot of interest in that. Viasat is one, for example, but no one knew anything about it, right? I mean, we know what they do, but we just, So what we did is we would go in and have a lunch and learn at Viasat. We take a tour of the facility, we meet with an executive, and that seemed to be really attractive to a lot of our members that weren't normally really engaged on those Monday meetings.
And Reagan, you're the driving club as well. So do you want to share about that?
Yeah, so since COVID-19 kind of came into our lives unexpectedly, we had a lot of members who disengaged due to Zoom. They didn't want to get on the computer and talk to everyone like this. So we found that a lot of people weren't joining. I mean, we have 81 members and half of them join our weekly calls. So we were trying to figure out ways to engage those people who weren't, attending the Zoom calls on Monday. So the Sheridan up in Carlsbad, were very flexible in offering us just a parking lot. They didn't have a lot of business at the time. So what we've been able to do is, in place of our Zoom meetings on Monday, do a drive-in where people that want to come see everybody can sit in their car, eat lunch, but we can still have a meeting by listening to a radio station. And then the president is running the meeting at the front of all the cars. It's been pretty popular.
So I thought that was great. And then I'll talk about the mentor. We talked about new member orientation, and that includes by way of either having a dinner with a new member, talking to them about what to expect. So not only expectations, but what we can offer to them as well, and ensuring that they get the proper training, whether that be by way of the Learning Center available through the district, assigning the member to communicate with them. And really important in our particular club, and we talked about this earlier this afternoon, and I'll close with that, we ensure or try our best to ensure that every member is at minimum part of one committee or one board or foundation, something to make him or her relevant to the club and keep them active. Done, promise.
Thanks, Athenia. All right, who's next?
Hi, this is Paulette. I'll do for Marta's group. Hang on. Okay, so one of the things that Marta suggests is that she said, while we're in training here as president-elects, to meet with every single member if we can, ask them how long they've been in Rotary, why did they join, what is their passion, and what ideas can they give you as your incoming president to make the club more relevant to you, and so that they have a little more skin in the game, and it becomes more of their club instead of, the membership it's a membership ownership of the club kind of situation, and then how much time can you give to the club, and then you have this private conversation. One of the things we did as, especially during COVID, is we have all of our board members are assigned 4 or 5 members, and we have sort of like a phone tree or a whatever. And our job is to check on each member each week to see how they're doing. And then we have a good Samaritan that if we had somebody that had surgery or blah, blah, whatever, we send cards and so forth. So we try to, personal touch for that. And we just actually met last night, had a brainstorming session our board did about these 2 things exactly. And it was completely coincidental. John said they have a mentorship program. He'll send out, and if I get this wrong, John, you can correct me. He does an echo minute on some echo related topic. They send out an email to the club. And if he sees a new person that has an idea on the topic, then that new person gets to share that idea at the next meeting. So that was great. Exit follow-up of leaving members. Dave said their member chair reaches out, sends a personal email. If a person misses a meeting, they send out a a personal email to them that says, hey, we missed you and this is what you missed. Nisha had a great idea that they want to implement yard signs. A Rotarian lives here, or a Rotarian works here, and or if they're a new member, they get a surprise yard sign that says new Rotarian member lives here, or whatever. So I thought that was great. And then Chen says that the president always calls anyone who leaves, and we always continue to invite them to socials, projects, and any celebrations that you have. Reach out to past members, and sometimes they come back.
I mention your idea of the selfie you take during the meeting.
Oh, yeah, I guilt them. So if they're not at a meeting, of course, it's a different. Sometimes I take a picture of our screen during the meeting now for COVID. But if I'm sitting in a meeting and I see somebody they've missed a couple of weeks, I'll take a selfie of me smiling at them with the whole meeting behind me and say, "Hey, we miss you. We love you. Where are you? Are you okay?" That's always the last thing. Are you okay? Because somebody says, "Oh my gosh, I just had foot surgery," and I'm sitting there thinking, "How did we not know that?" Somebody in the club knew but didn't say anything to anybody else. So then at the end, I can raise my hand and say, "Hey, I just want to report on Elizabeth. She's not here because she just had foot surgery." And everybody's like, "Oh," and then they contact her. So yeah, just a guilt by selfie is what I do.
Great idea.
Great
My
idea.
group will go next.
Okay.
To Sharon? And you're muted.
Mute. Okay. So we also talked about engagement and the importance of finding out what the Rotary moment of someone is, particularly when they're joining the club, and kind of tailor things to that and try to keep them engaged that way. So one way to engage them that's simple to start out with is try to involve them. Say if you have a scholarship, to involve them in interviewing students, so you can see firsthand how Rotary might impact other people outside of the club. And that tends to be a very meaningful way to get them to see immediately the impact within the community. And that goes with also having projects that are not just fundraisers, but also hands-on. A lot of members, that's what they really want to do, is get their hands dirty, literally sometimes. We talked a little bit about membership application, and that kind of gave me the idea of maybe we need to update our membership application to ask a little bit more, not just what your hobbies are, but what brought you to Rotary? How did you get involved? Why were you interested? Are you looking for something? I know when I joined Rotary, I was actively looking for a volunteer activity that I could do that was a little more broad ranging. And then also in our club and others, we talked about mentors and the importance of membership. We have shifted from a fireside chat to a monthly Red Badger meeting that's led by our membership chair. And we have different guest speakers at those meetings to try to educate a little bit about the mechanics of the club and get them engaged in a smaller and try to get them engaged with the cohort of people who came in at the same time as they did, and that kind of goes along to mentors. And Cindy asked a little bit about how we select mentors. I think that starts as soon as someone expresses interest in the club, trying to think about matching a mentor to them, and maybe having a couple different mentors. In my case, it's been a little bit hard for me to mentor someone that I was assigned to this year. I've just been very busy. So, but I think it's something that to start right away to think about who's going to be the one-on-one person who, when they join this club, that they can go to with questions and know that they'll be able to find answers. So, in a nutshell is what we talked about.
All right. Thank you, Sharon. Okay, who's up?
I'll go.
Thanks, Lee.
Yeah, so there was a couple ideas that I thought were really fantastic. All of them were fantastic. So David mentioned 2 people being assigned to new members, not necessarily the sponsor themselves, that maybe, can't be hands-on all the time. So they assign other people to kind of, direct them to committees, almost like a buddy program, so that they're able to kind of know their fellow members too. And then if a member missed meetings, give the member a call, kind of let them know that you're dialing in and let them know that we're thinking of them. Onboarding new members and getting the docs that they need for Red Badge, but actually revising the docs and maybe refreshing them a little bit to get them more motivated to get their red badge. And then give people assignments or roles, basically designed to get them engaged and communicating with other members. This was neat, a trivia sheet to find out about the other members. So you kind of get them engaged with who their fellow members are. And then who am I speeches, where each of the other members kind of step in front and give a speech on their background, their childhood, or why they are Rotarians. And then this one actually I thought about as we were talking, and we do this at our club, and that is we go on little field trips, which are actually a lot of fun, and I think it does retain members. We were able to go on a border wall trip where Border Patrol kind of showed us all of the new walls that have gone up, and we learned a lot about Border Patrol. And then we've gone to Pause for Purple Hearts. So little field trips to kind of keep everyone engaged. And when you're not in the meeting, you get to know people much faster. So so that's kind of the ideas we brainstormed.
Good. Awesome ideas. Thanks, Lily. Who's up?
I'll go.
Okay, great, Paul.
Yeah, so, I mean, I have to say a lot of these ideas coming at the end are things we talked about, but I know Kirsten brought up from East San Diego Coastal the idea of the buddy system. So, and that can work for both obviously new members as well as existing, reinvigorating to get pairs of people together to work together to be part of the whole. We talked about having fun socials, getting together outside of the Rotary Club meeting and engaging, and maybe even, dare I say, from Sherry and Encinitas, having a glass of wine, imbibe a little bit, loosen up, relax, get to know each other. And that's also with events. I mean, Dana talked about golf being a big thing in their club, but that can be a bonding experience on the course outside of the meeting. And from my perspective, with a smaller club, definitely the one-on-one engagement. I have a luxury in that regard, and that's something that I'm definitely going to pursue. I'm glad Marta supports that strategy, because I think that could be fruitful to find out what people, why they joined. I love that phrase somebody just used, what's your Rotary moment? And also why did you join? Are you still getting the same thing out of it? Because we've got a wide range of members, 30, 40, 50 year, and 5, 4, 5, 6 year. So all good things.
Good. Thanks, Paul. All right, one last. Who's up?
Yeah, this is Keith and Steve's group. I'll go ahead and bring us around to home plate here. Right. Just a few things that we talked about on the retention of our current members. Many of the groups are getting together and having barbecues. Of course, right now we can't really get together in large groups at restaurants. And so a lot of our members from around the North County here in our breakout group have opened up their homes. They're getting together monthly for a social. I think that we would all agree that going completely dark is not a good idea right now, because that's how you kind of lose a group. That being said, from a recruitment and retention standpoint of getting some new members in, it was thrown out there that having more meetings on Zoom might not be a bad thing, especially as we're trying to bring on more of the younger folks that may be working. They can't just leave their job. I think you would all agree that many of the working folks that we see show up probably have community outreach as a part of their job in one way, shape, or form. And whether or not it's a part of their job or not, we may be able to attract more members, you know, those that are working, if maybe we consider more of our weekly meetings being on Zoom. Maybe go to half of our monthly meetings on Zoom, maybe 3 of them, and maybe once a month actually getting together in person. Of course, there are pros and cons to that, but it would be an option so that the working class folks could join the meetings from their desk for an hour. Others are partnering with local food groups, food pantries, community groups, and partnering with just other community groups, because of course there are power in numbers and the groups are helping each other out. The last thing that was kind of talked about was the affordability. And although many of us in Rotary now are in our 40s and 50s, if we want to get the younger kids involved in the group so that we have future 30 and 40-year members, many of us bought our homes for $150,000, $250,000. Now they're paying $650,000, $750,000 for theirs, and maybe they don't have $100 a month to put toward a membership. And so maybe we want to consider, let's save money on a breakfast or renting a restaurant or lunch, and maybe we lower the dues and make the group more affordable for the younger people. Otherwise, it's just going to continue to be folks that look like us. But if we want to diversify the group and bring in some younger members, we're going to have to think way outside the box. And so these are some ideas that were thrown out.
Good, great. Well, thank you everybody for all your amazing ideas. I just want to maybe conclude with a couple of thoughts. Membership, I think, is our greatest opportunity. We have, in the county, we have 3.3 million people and a little under 3,000 Rotarians. So it's virtually one Rotarian per 1,000 people in the county. So there's just a tremendous opportunity. Even to consider doubling that doesn't seem that big of a goal, but it's a lot more difficult than said. So, but just keep that in mind. You guys are the great ambassadors. Some wonderful ideas that have come out, in this discussion. Hopefully, you've picked up some new ideas from some of your fellow presidents-elect. I do want to thank all of our facilitators for taking time out to be with us, and of course our assistant governors for being here tonight, and you presidents-elect. Thank you so much, really, for taking this time. Next month, we're going to do the third Thursday again. We're continuing with our third Thursdays, and we will be addressing the foundation. And so we're going to go foundation light and just give you some insight into the foundation. We'll probably be doing that for the next couple of months on different parts of what the foundation's all about. So thanks again to everybody. Thanks to our governor for being here tonight, Steve, and participating as a breakout. And
Dan, if I could,
sure.
You're talking next month is foundation. November 18th is RI's foundation executive, and that's Jeff Cochran. He is speaking to the leadership of the district, and you're all invited. You've been invited to these sessions. So if you want to get a little bit of an insight as part of Foundation Month, come on the 18th at I think it's either 4 or 5 o'clock.
In addition to that, real quick, is the November 7th is our foundation seminar.
Yeah.
Which will be a 90-minute session on a Saturday morning. If you really want to see the magic of what Rotary does, there's going to be some wonderful highlights Saturday morning, the 7th of November, details to follow. But yeah, if you can block your morning. I don't recall the start time of that on Saturday morning.
I want to say 9 to 10:30, Dan.
Okay. So yeah, so encourage your club members and yourselves to come, and anybody else that even non-Rotarians who want to learn a little bit more about the wonderful works we do throughout the world.
Guys, will there be a link sent out? Is that going to be a Zoom meeting as well?
It will be.
Thank you.
Yep.
Can you tell me the date again? I wrote down the times, but
Yep, Saturday the 7th of November.
And Don Phipps is going to be the control panel. You're going to love it.
So yeah.
Right. On that note, thank you, everybody. Sorry I went a little over tonight. I appreciate your time and sticking around. Have a good evening.
All right.
Thanks,
Thanks,
Dan, have a
everybody.
second to hang on with me after?
Yeah.